Alrighty guys, hope you can hear me. Different, hi, welcome. Switch the music here. Come on Spotify. Shuffle. Yes, thank you. Hi CKY, welcome, hi. So first things first, I'm gonna pour myself the traditional beer here. Cheers guys. I have only one bottle left over, so I need to get a new one, so we can continue this tradition. Very good. So today we are we're bringing some life to Faye. So there's currently this event going on where you can earn yourself the first NFT. Cheers and different. Cheers. Where you can earn yourself a limited NFT, which is only available during the alpha testing that is happening right now. MW, hi, welcome. You might have seen it on our Twitter feed and stuff, but today we will add it into the game. So the first step today, get the model in there, get the animations working, get them to switch between the different animations. I will show you that. And yeah, after that, I will probably do the other thing on stream as well. I will not spoil it right now, but there will be some other changes coming as well. So be on the lookout for that. How are you guys doing? How's the week so far? So let me get set up here. So I have everything I need. I guess I will make a new scene and copy this over. Pets. Celebrating Orthodox Easter. Yeah, I'm not that familiar with Orthodox religion. Why is it that the dates are different? Can somebody explain it to me? Because your Christmas is on a different date as well, right? And happy Easter, by the way. Okay, so I guess I'm going to switch over. Different calendars. Okay. I might have to look into that because I'm very interested in different calendars. And ours is really, really, really weird. It's Julian versus the Gregorian. Okay. Yeah, we basically need a new calendar, in my opinion. Well, what was it, MW? You can divide it equally a year in 13 months, each 28 days or something, and each month essentially 4 weeks. This would be amazing. 3 months, 28 days, 1 wasted day. Yeah, and we will call it the wasted day because on that day everybody gets wasted, right? I think that makes a lot of sense. And I just saw that the current task is bringing life to Faye. Oh, he can't do the fox thing. Alright, so I prepared the stuff. Here's the model file. I don't know if... Oh, I uninstalled it, so we'll have to see it. The way it's like it never existed in the first place, as no memory will exist of a perfect calendar system. Yeah, I guess we will now run... what do you have to do to change the calendar that we're using? Do we get into politics, or do we just start a cult and just use it that way? Okay, so we have new entities, and these entities will be pets. And we will start off with Faye. So in here, I don't know how we did it so far. Yeah, we have animations. Right, animations. But essentially, currently I can only put it into this folder because it's actually not that much. So, first off, we will add our two textures here. It also will not have a weekday assigned. It will just be the wasted day. So the first day of the month will always be a Monday. Yeah, that sounds perfect. I think we start by making a few packages for it. Just JSON, Python, etc. Or just create a pull request for these date libraries, right? Then we just sneak it by something. Just yeah, this is something a lot of people use. We create some statistics online, and they then probably most of the IT guys will see. Oh, this is a really cool calendar. We should switch to that. maybe that's not even that bad of an idea to use this in programs and then convert to other stuff, because it's much easier to handle. Then create a Wikipedia page claiming it's actively getting used. Yeah, that's what I was thinking of. But that will have to come after the Wikipedia page so we can cross-link everything. Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So question to that, we had Eastern Sunday 16. So it's different. CQI, you're Orthodox as well, right? I figured. I'm not sure. So why, if that's the case, why are there different dates? Yeah. Why are there different dates, like, for different and for you? So indifferent is still celebrating. Did I get that right? Yeah, religion. Okay, so this is T-Fay spec, and this is T-Fay. Then we will need a new material. Right, he's still celebrating. Awesome. So I'm celebrating with you, guys. Oh, nice CQA coming with half true. Okay, material. There it is. And the question is the simple lit? Yeah, we can have a specular map. No, we can't. Can? Oh, okay. So we have the... Oh, it's the particle stuff. Simple lit. Okay, simple lit only has a normal map. Nothing else. So we have to use the standard lit. Yeah. Lit We use the specular workflow. Put in these maps. What's the full truth then? Yeah, CQI. What's up with all of that? Cool. So we have this, and we don't have a normal map, we don't have a height map, we have no occlusion map. Ooh. Oh, so this is ambient occlusion. Okay, gotcha. No mask, no base. Okay, cool. It's opaque. We render the front. We have no alpha gripping, and when enabled, other game objects can cast shadows onto this object. Yeah, we'll change that. We need answers to improve the perfect calendar. It seems to me you have to attach it to some kind of cult or religion. Okay, so Matt Faye, and I wrote it wrong the first time here. So these are 1K, right? Yeah. So I can set them to 1K here. Yeah, use that. Cool. Alright, so let's import the model. Yeah, if we have the perfect calendar, it also makes all variable day holiday stuff like the last Sunday in May or something like that always be the same date, which would also be very welcome. Yeah, very much indeed. So this is a Faye. I guess that's, there's a little preview here, but I will hide it for now. Oh, we still have our post-processing script on. We have to take a look here. I guess we just uncommented it, but to make sure nothing is weird. Let's see. Greeks are Orthodox and they celebrate on Julian calendar. Greeks are Orthodox as well. Okay, I have to look into that. So CQI, what's your nationality? Because last time we spoke about, what language was it? If you don't mind me asking. Serbian? Was it Serbian? Okay, so let's close that stuff since it's not really that interesting. Editor and assets. This is the Blender Armature post process. So we still have that. Oh, we remove the control bones since we don't need them. Probably makes sense. So let's see what we have here. We don't need those, we don't need those, we don't need those. I guess these are fine. We will generate light map UVs because we need them for light map baking. Bulgarians also Orthodox, but they are mixed, some of them on Julian, some on Gregorian. Okay, now it's getting complicated. When we meet, we can have double celebration for everything. Christmas, Easter, New Year. Yeah. You have to look on the bright side then, yeah. Yeah. Rig. We will have a generic rig. We will create a avatar And for that I need to name it underscore because I hate it when I have naming, that's weird. Hope that works while I did stuff. Okay, so this is still here. We'll create from this model. We'll have do we have a root bone? Yeah, this is a root. There's a completely different skeleton that I'm used to. So we'll put root here. Schematics is set to 2 bones per vertex in quality settings. Some bone influences may be not rendered. Yeah, that's okay. So apply that. So double drinks, yeah. Cool, so we don't import materials. So, yeah, just copied it over, right? So we have that now, and I wanted to have a new, yeah, let me open this. Okay, now we are in pets. So we have these cameras here, which we actually don't need, because we will just remove those. Don't need that. Create empty, call it pets. Recenter that. And here we'll do this. Call it pfay hat. Oh, there he is. She. We're not entirely sure if it's a she or a he. Okay, so there's the avatar, and then we have all of this. Ooh, so these, okay. Yeah, we should probably add those to just one thing here. So the eyes didn't work. Let's scale it up for now. Okay, I'm a bit confused. You should use the specular map, right? Why the specular alpha? Do I have to specify that here? Yeah, I have to talk to the artist here, so it's a few things are broken, but we move on with the cool stuff, which are animations. And for that we will just do this for now. Yeah, sorry, I need to unpack that completely and then put it here. So we have a prefab now. And then we go in. Do we have a preview? Yeah. So it's delete. I'm just going to keep that for now. Can we have more than one fox activated in the game to buy them all from market? No. Are we going to have some? So there's you can only equip one fox. So one pet at a time. So that's the plan for now. Are we going to have some in-game benefits with the fox? No, that's not currently planned. Maybe later down the road we will find a way to integrate it into the gameplay, which would be very cool. But for now, gameplay will stay as it is right now. So I worked on a few stuffs today that will allow you to play a bit faster. So currently you have to wait for an animation to finish before you can attack again, and I'm currently trying to remove that restriction. Yeah, but a lot of stuff being worked on in the background. I also heard that priest animations is taking yeah, we know that it's taking a long time, but that it's really annoying as well. So we're working on that too. So here, yeah, it's just affecting this, which makes sense. But yeah, I guess the problem is that this is not one mesh, but a few different ones. This is why it's applying it to almost everyone. Taurus action, yeah, what's happening here? The priest must chant the Lord's Prayer before letting go move, yeah. Yeah. But yeah, what we were thinking is maybe we even change it from a priest to a cleric, because it makes more sense in the setting of a battlefield. And for that, since the priest or the cleric, I don't know if we will change that, has the same attack pattern as the knight, we thought it might be fitting to just conjure up with holy magic a mace. So I don't know if you're familiar with D&D clerics. But these are warriors, no? Yeah. And you often see it with a mace and stuff. I guess MW played a cleric, well, when we played the D&D campaign way back then. So we thought this would probably make a lot of sense. So it's more paladin-like, but yeah. And for the heal, it will just be like the simple prayer with the book, but faster. Yeah, something like that. There's nothing concretely set in stone right now, but we're thinking about stuff. Shadowed being the holy war machine really was great. Yeah. I remember you having a mace as well, right? Or was it a warhammer or something like that? But you countered it also with some light magic and stuff. And didn't you use that in the cave once to light the way? I don't remember where Cloud found the cards of Doom, which were horrible and at the same time really funny. Yeah, but we think this would be a way better fit for what we are trying to do. Or this is probably much overboard here. I don't know if we go to Pinterest. I had a warhammer, yes, okay, but also conjured a spiritual weapon as well. Yeah, so a spiritual weapon would be, and yes, I often used it as a torch. I remember correctly. Yeah, so spiritual weapon, so to say, would be what's the idea. So we'll have almost the same animation, so it would be different from knights, but at the tip of of the, I don't know what you call it. Yeah, up here, you can see it. You will conjure in the weapon with some kind of shader magic, then strike, and once we strike, the weapon will disappear again. So this makes it a lot faster since we only have to play one animation, because the priest currently is about a mixture of 4 appended on each other, which is, yeah, weird. It takes a lot of time. I don't have a thing for this, right? Apparently I do. Cleric. Yeah, so that's what we were thinking, but nothing's set in stone yet. Yeah, something like that. He still has this book, but that is just to read from it. Yeah. Ah, see? Almost like a game. Yeah, I think this would be much cooler, and will solve the animation problem. Yep. Just to let you in for some insights. Okay. I have to talk to the artist, so this is a bit wrong, but let's continue on with animations. Okay, so we have this ear scratch here. Maybe I can tell it to already use Fade Hat. Yeah, so this should work. Yeah, it's metallic all over, which is... When I look into that, yeah, we will have that here. Anyways, let's reopen that, so we can have a look. So we have an ear scratch, we have an ear twig. Yeah, we will play this so randomly. We have an idol. Previously we had the crystal tail, pulling it like this in front of it, and it kind of looked like a what's it called? A scorpion, right? So with the tail back up, like it's like the sharp edge. Then we have a lay down. Oh, that's very cute. A few arrows here. Can look around. Can lick our paw. Sit down. Sit idle. Oh yes, this would be great. This would be great. We have a sit up. Cool. Sleep to idle. Ah, this is the sleep idle. Makes sense. We have a stretch, obviously. And a wake up. Canis Crystallis. Yeah, there's always these here. See, just not correctly set up. Weight painting is a bit messed up here on this point, but we can get that fixed really quick. Well, I can't, but the artists can. And yeah, Taurus action is something we actually don't need. So what we're going to do now is go in and set some defaults for those. So this was the scratch. Probably would be good to use the original here and bake everything into pose. Play that. Then ear twitch. Also original. And this. Oh yeah, so this is an idle, so we have to check the loop time here. So it loops. So it loops anyways in this preview, but once we're using the animation within the game, we will also need that. Cool, so we have a lay down, the original here as well. Awesome. Lay down will also be the same, everything baked in. Polyg will be the same. Sit down also. It's a bit of monkey work today. Okay, then another idle. We also have to check the loop here, and other than that we will use everything from the original. Same here without loop. Then we have another idle, which is the sleep. We will loop that. Use the original here. Stretch will also be non-loopable. And the final one will be wake up. So you see there is no walk animation for this, since the idea is currently to be placed statically beside the king. Cool, so I will go in and say, hey, copy all of those. Let's clean it up. And Fey. Twitch, I guess the names are good. Fey idle, yeah. So for the most part we will just have to remove the rig part here. Fey look around. OCD kicking in. Then Fey and then Fey Paul lick. So let me quickly do something off screen. Just got a secret message, so to be quiet. Okay. Secret message answered. Continue cleanup. And face it up. Cool. So after this, we will have to create a animation controller. I guess it's the prefix is AC, and we will call it Fey. So this is where the fun part begins. And we have to think about how we will change from one animation to the other. But for now, we will start in the idle. That's very short. Hi Cloud, welcome. Rest of the foam. So we will have a entry here, any state. Will we use any state? Probably not. So we'll organize it like this for now. Cool. So let's look. Preview. We have standing. So this is standing, right? Yeah. We have this is a lay down from the sit. So we will have to do it like this, so I don't know which one's which. So these are all in idle. Do we have everything? So we have this also in idle. Sit down. Stretch is also within idle. And wake up. Okay. Maybe that's not the best naming convention, but we have the ear scratch, the ear twitch, the look around, and the stretch. Come on. The name is not that complicated. Cool, so ear scratch, twitch, look around, and the stretch. Ear twitch, look around, and stretch. So for each of those, no, I don't want a layer, I want a parameter. We will have triggers. We'll have ear scratch, ear twitch, look around, and stretch. And all of these will be callable from the idle when the trigger. So we don't have a, yeah, we have an exit time. Let's keep it at 90 flat now, and we will have a look around. Right? Look around. Okay, so yeah, look around. 90 flat here as well. No, we don't have an exit time here. Yeah. But we will have on the other. So this will be a ear twitch. We don't have an exit time. We have a condition, which is ear scratch. That's correct. Then with this, we have just a stretch. Cool. Then we have a way back. And these will have exit times. Since when the animation is over, we will just exit back to the idle. this. And then, yeah, they're already in there. So with this, we could now actually already test this a bit. If we go here, go in here and just tell him, hey, we will use this AC. Apply to prefab. And if we play now, we don't have camera, which is okay. So I will get rid of this for now. So you see we have the idle playing. So you can also see this in here. It's actually really nice for debugging. See what's going on, and if you do this, it scratches the ear. And when it's done scratching, it gets back. Same for the ear twitch. We will probably play that a bit more often than the other stuff. Yeah, this is essentially how this works. And a mirror stretch. Cool, so this is the first setup. So one could think about to put this within a substate. I don't know if I like that, but maybe it makes sense. But for now, we will add this a substate for sitting. It's sitting. Yeah. So if we go in here. Oh, sorry, I just created a new one. I wanted to substate, yeah. Now we're talking. Setting. And if I go in here, I will have the default sit. We will have the sit down, the sit idle, and the sit up for sure. So it always, yeah, I think it makes sense to put it top down here. So we'll do that. Can ignore that for now. We probably need the exit, yeah. So we'll have a transition here, and we will have a transition here, since this is pretty straightforward. Sit idle. Sit down. And sit up. Awesome. And I don't know if we had some stuff. So we have the down, then we have the idle. Right. With the up. Do we have anything? Yeah, we have the pollic. We'll get that in here. This was... We have to lay down. We will... Yeah, this will be another substate, I guess. We have to stretch. Idle, lay down from the sit. So we look at that later. Pollic was within the sit. This is the sit down, sit idle, sleep. Okay. Wake up. Yeah, cool. So the other thing, yeah, we will add that to a substate as well. So essentially we don't need the base layer here because we will get back in here with the exit time. Okay, it's succession 08, so we will use that. Yeah, we can't preview that, that's okay. But here we will have to trigger. Let's probably make it a bool, call it sitting. And if sitting is false, we will do this. And if we go up to the base layer, we will make this. When sitting is true. So technically this works the way we have an idle here, and then we trigger this, and while this is running we can also already say, hey, it's sitting, and once it gets back to idle it will automatically switch to here. this is how this works. When you look online, you can find. Let me quickly do that. Unity animation controller spaghetti. So you can find images where you're like, yeah, things like this. Yeah, you can avoid that if you use substates and things like that. It still may look a bit more complicated than it needs to be, but you can always pull stuff out from the overall thing, because all of these states they don't have to live within this layer. If we look into, let's say, the hunter, it's actually pretty straightforward, and it's way more complex than the pet is. We can move, so the movement here, yeah, this will be interesting. Yeah, nothing is happening. It's just between an idle and a run. And then we have action. This is the more complicated stuff. We can also only get into here when we equip, and we unequip, then we get out. So this is essentially what we are doing now with the sitting and the pet. And other than that, we have all of these things, and we have some specials here for the weight because we have left, right. I could have added those in here as well, but this would have bloated it, and it's not needed. I can just hide it away in here and refer to it that way. It's much more clean and better to maintain. Same here, so we have to change a weapon and change armor, and we also hide that away. Just to give you a sense of what we're actually doing. So this is the pet side. This is actually pretty basic. Yeah, so if we go in here, we will have an exit of 0.8 because that's success. Yeah, I can't talk right now, and I will not try again. Cool. Then here we have paw leg, so this will be another thing that we will trigger. And you see here, a paw leg is only able to be happening when we are sitting, right? So in a case where we just say, okay, look around, then we set it to sitting, and then we instantly set it to paw leg, it will do this in sequence. So here we will say, we'll do this when we want to paw leg. Awesome. We want to go back in here once the animation finishes. 0.9, that's okay. We don't have an exit time here. Don't have an exit time here as well. This is happening instantly. Cool. An exit will just get back. Okay, it's not working. Why? I guess it just switches back automatically. We have to check that. It's been quite some time until I figured move things around in here, but that's okay. I guess we can test this now, just like we did before. Yeah, we don't have cameras, so we stretch, then we say sitting. Okay, it instantly did stuff. Okay, I might have done some things wrong. You scratch, stretch. This is time-wise. Sitting true. Should not have an exit time. In here we will have this. We will place sit down. Have an exit time and then idle on the idle. Yeah, this should actually work. What's the problem? So it should be stretching, yeah. Okay, so that works. I'm confused why it... Yeah, now it doesn't. Yeah, because at that time we can't stretch or do any of those. But if I, for instance, do this, then do this, it should, yeah, do that in sequence, and then the trigger is gone. So something weird was happening before. But yeah, that works. Let's see if the polyg works as well. Yeah. Cool. So up next would be lay down and sleep. Lay down. Preview. Yeah, and then sleep is the actual idle, and then we have a wake up. Okay. So we will have a state in here, a substate, which is called sleeping. You see, with this is actually really straightforward. Nothing like this. Okay, we don't have an exit time. We will do this instantly when we say sleeping. Sleeping is true. So when we go in here, we will do the same. We'll have an entry in any state. So any state is interesting. I can show you another animation controller. So in here we have an any state, and with this you can essentially cancel stuff. So I have this cancel, what is it? It's a trigger. So if I call the cancel trigger, it will, from any state, if it's down here or anywhere else, I will go in here and get back to the other. So essentially we can just stop animations in the middle, or yeah, mid animation, and then move back to the desired state. This is utilized a lot in third-person games and FPSs. Cool. So sitting, from sitting we can go into sleeping, and here we will need the lay down, the sleep idle, and the wake up. Let's see how I call sitting. Sit idle. Okay. Sleep idle. Lay down. Wake up. Same story here. Yeah, we need to exit. Nope. So what I just did is set this as the default state in the layer, but the default state within the layer is idle. Cool. So sleeping. Let's let OCD do its thing. We will have 0.8 here. Here we will just do this when we are not sleeping anymore. Don't have an exit time. And here we have an exit time of 0.8. And that should be it. Animation wise. Let's go in here. Yes, because I had this on by default, right? Yeah. That was the reason. Yeah. So let's get back in here and connect. So we have this auto live link. So any game object that has an animator in here, it will debug and display me what's happening here. Okay, so let's test all of these. Huh, the ear twitch is really long, but nothing much is happening. Oh, that's the scratch, sorry. Where's the twitch? Yeah, and then it's freezed. So it probably makes sense to re-export that. Look in here, find the ear twitch, look at the preview, play that, and see where it ends. At frame 40, I'd say. Let's do it 42. 50. Yeah, let's make 60 for now. Guess 50 would be better. Yeah, we have this after Twitch, and then we are in the 40, yeah, so it should probably be 40. Apply this, and then we will copy that again. Where is it? Ear Twitch, copy. Then we go in and say, whoop, ear Twitch, be gone. Get in here and say ear scratch, now ear twitch. And test again. Oh no, sorry, I just started from the title. I will add the camera back here because we don't need it right now. So let's ear scratch. It's good, ear twitch. It's now really fast. Look around is okay. The stretch is okay as well, I guess. Yeah. So ear twitch, where is it? Here. I give it 5 more frames. Apply this. Let's copy that again and delete that one. Rename it. Ear twitch, go in and set that. Ear twitch. Yeah, that's better. Then we go into sitting. We lick the paw. Go back to sleeping. Ooh, yeah, that's not good. I want to transition back here, but that's not working, right? We have to reconsider. Yeah, we probably don't use that then. So get rid of this. Also get rid of this, because we can actually look into the state machine. So if I say make transition states, we have to sit down. So we will always want from the idle to the sit down, and then in here we will say we will go back to the idle. Then we move that over here, and then look to see if we can make this a bit easier to look at. Yeah, something like this. Cool. So now we will get directly from the idle into the sit down, then to the sit idle, and then back again. So here we will, yeah, we have the timing, which is alright. We don't have a timing here. We will want it to do when we are sitting. We have a timing here, yes, and sitting here. So we will have to do the same in this substate as well. So no end. Yeah, no, we can't use exit here. That's a bummer, but that's okay. We basically do the same setup as in the state above. Get in here, make our shape. We will transition back to sit idle, and here we will transition to lay down without time when we want to sleep. Sleeping false. This is time. No time. Time. Perfect. Okay, so let's try again. Stretch. Cool. After that we want to sit. Then we want to sleep. I want to sit again. Lick the paw. Cancel the sitting. Yeah, and you see, I clicked it twice here. So if I go back to sitting, it will instantly lick the paw. Yeah. So this is how this works. Awesome. So I guess that's this setup done. So let me quickly clean it up a bit. Have the ear stuff to the left. Look around and stretch since these are a bit bigger than the other two. So we have a shape like this. Cool. So this is actually pretty fine already. And in sleeping, it's kind of the same thing. Yeah. If I were up, cool. So now we need to control this from code, so we can do stuff. And for this, we will create a Fey animation controller, kind of like we did with the characters. So for this, it would make sense. Sorry, I want this back. It makes sense to look into how we did that with the characters. So entities, pawns, animation. So the animation system for the characters is a bit more complicated since we're using events as well, and we don't need that for the pets right now. But yeah, we could also use that if we wanted to. Let me see. I call it just animation controller. Should probably call it pawn animation controller. Anywho, let's go in here, create pets. Fey animation controller. Okay, so go back in here, and then we have this. So this is already has some base stuff with the save animator. Ah yeah, this is just runtime animator controller of the wrapped animator. Ah, okay, so we can access this here. Okay, so let's use that. Save animator. And first off, we will need all of these keys here. Since the character system is a bit bigger, we have these params in a separate static class. But for what we are trying to achieve, we don't need that, I guess. But we will have to copy this. This is how we roll. And do this. Cool. And have a ear scratch. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's on 7. So we have an ear scratch, a ear twitch, trigger, look around trigger, stretch, pull. You don't like it, okay. Oh no, stretch is a trigger as well. Then we have a sitting boolean, a polyg trigger, and a sleeping bool. And now it's just a matter of copy pasting. What we also should do is use tags. Not that we're going to use it here now, but those are actually pretty good later on if we ever want to need those. So we will have yeah, Unity. Ah, you can compile, so it should be faster. Yeah. Base layer. Or was it? Yeah, we can set tags to all of those. So let's put those to default. Or standing rather. So we can check if we are currently standing. Then in here we will set it to sitting. Sitting, sitting, sitting. And here we will set all of it to sleeping. Cool. So we will have standing tag, just a standing. Come on. Private const string sitting tag. And sleeping tag. Cool. Then, as I said, just a matter of copy paste. So ear scratch. Yeah. I will add it here and then because it's always trying to recompile here. Which is annoying. And I just want to copy things around. So again, ear scratch, ear twitch, look around, sitting, paw leg, and sleeping. Cool. So ear twitch. Cool. Animation controller. We will have a look into here. And probably do something similar. We do it in here. We'll have stands. And we will have standing, sitting, and sleeping. Don't have any directions. But we have the thing here. So what we can do now is we have a stance spool. Based on that, yeah, we do stuff. So we'll do the same. Public stance, current stance. We'll only have a get, I guess, for now. And none is always needed for this, since if the animator doesn't have a runtime controller or anything else is fishy, or we don't have an animator, which should probably never happen, but you know how it is. Equals null or equals null, then we return none. Other than that, we will get all of our bools. We will get sitting, animator get bool, we will get our sitting bool. I wrote setting again. Sitting, and then we have our sleep thing, animator get bool, sleeping bool, return. Let's make a tuple here. Sitting, sleeping, switch. And if we have true, true, it's sleeping. And if we have true, false, it's sitting. Anything else is standing. Cool. All right, so now we need to be able to set these We did this here with the set, but it's private here, which probably makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense if it's private. So same thing here. We can't do anything if we don't have the things we need to work on. Other than that, we will go in and say probably the opposite of this. So converting the stance to a tuple of booleans, where sitting is always the first. So let's see, sitting and sleeping equals switch value. Come on. And if we are in a stance of sitting, so we want to sit, we have a true and a false here. Why isn't this working? Ah, sorry, it's the other way around. Then we have sleeping, which is both true. So with this, we can go in and set from standing to sleeping in an instant. So both are set to true, which means it will go in and do the sitting first and then straight go into sleeping, which is kind of neat. And if anything else is here, we will just return false. So with these two, we will just go in and set those animators, set bool, sitting bool, and then sitting. Sleeping bool, sleeping. Awesome. So now I kind of want to make this public. And also show it in the inspector. Yeah. So let's try that already. So when we go in, Unity? Okay. So we will add Fey Animator. Then we will say the overrides will apply. And by default, yeah, non-standing. Should probably say this. Yeah. So standing is our default in that case. There are some weird songs in here. So yeah, let's have the animator as well and see if it works as we intend. So if we go in here and say sleeping, yeah, it should do exactly that, which is kind of neat. Then we say standing, we will go the whole way. Sitting, and that's it. Isn't that cool? I think it's really cool. Huh. We don't need that anymore. Other than that, I think we also only used triggers here, right? We have a set stance, yeah, because we have the instant flag. So it makes sense that this is used like this. So now we have these triggers, yeah. Question is, do we need to await those? I don't think that we need right now, so we will just fire and forget, so to say, which means we will just add, for every trigger that we have, we will add a method. So we will have a trigger ear scratch, nothing to pass in. Trigger ear twitch. Trigger look around. And trigger stretch. Stretch is a weird word to spell. Then we have the polyg, which we will do something special in here. So we will have to check if we actually in the correct. Yeah, we will not allow it to trigger if we're not in the correct stance, right? So that's it. That's it for now. So looking back, so we were just copy pasting again because that's what we can do. Yeah, I have a has parameter, which makes sense. And then I have a trigger which resets and sets the trigger. Yeah. You know what? I will use those and go in and add them to the save animator, since these are actually pretty common. To import that, I guess. Yes. Can be made private. Yeah. So now we can go in here and clean up here as well, because we don't actually need those here anymore. And everything still works as expected. Ooh, we don't use that anymore. This is interesting. So everything else is trigger action with param. Yo, no, don't need that. Yeah, no. Cool. So trigger action. Trigger and check. Check and trigger. Yeah. Triggers give action if with the trigger ID. Checks if the given trigger ID exists, and then triggers it. Trigger ID to trigger, yeah. So we can do both things. And you see here, you have this reset in place, which is just there because you can, and we did this before, you can trigger 5 times in a row, and then it will execute it first time, execute it the second time, so it will just do the 5 triggers that we set. But we essentially, when we trigger, we want to play it, and everything that was before or after, we just reset it. And with this, we just make sure, hey, there's anything in here, we don't care about it, we just want to trigger it now, And when that's done, it's okay. And when another comes in, same thing. Cool, so then it's pretty straightforward here. We actually just put the trigger because we don't have to check really. Yeah, we can check because what is it doing? It's not even, yeah, it's just returning, which is fine. Yeah, and then we just put these little things in here. Check and trigger. So in that case, we don't wasting stuff. Twitch. So we don't waste sending information to the animation controller since we checked before if it's there or not. Check and trigger. Look around. Check and trigger. Stretch. Stretch trigger, right? Check and trigger polyg. So now, fun thing is, we will add buttons here. I guess the name is fine. So we can use these from the inspector. So what we already did this here. So show an inspector. Sorry, box group. I want it to be a box group here, and only show this during runtime. Show if, and then I have these handy things here. Only if it's runtime, right? And then we just call it runtime. Copy these. Okay. So these will fade away now. Interesting. Okay, so it just compiled the first batch and now it's doing it again. So there should be nothing here because we're not playing right now. Yeah, so there's nothing here. What we will have is we will have settings here. So serialized field. I will just put one in here for now. Call it box group settings. So we will always show these. And yeah, for now we just, I don't know, private float test, just that we have something. And we will make this to a fold out, which is not shown by default, which we can set here, expanded false. So it's not in your directly in your face, so you have to click to use it. And these are just debugging tools. So. Sorry, this is still a box group here. Yeah. So with this, we could now actually control it completely from within the editor here. But next step is to actually write a script. Yeah, we will not do this with the settings. Will we? Yeah, let's see. But yeah, we will have a script. We will have some random ranges where we twitch, where we stretch, where we do all kinds of stuff. Then after a certain time, we will sit down, we will lay down, and stuff like that. Okay, so as you can see, I will make this big again. Here is our animation controller. And this is our animator. We have this runtime here, so we can do stuff that we did before. Ah yeah, so what I forgot is, I wanted to test which stance we were on. So I could now trigger this, and then if I go back into sitting, it would do that. But that's actually not what I want. I don't want to be able to trigger stuff if I'm not in a stance right now. To fix this, that's actually pretty straightforward. We're just checking against the stance. So in here, we will say if the current stance is equal to standing, or it's not equal to standing, we'll just bail. Right? Makes sense. Look around was also some of this. And Paulik was the special one. This is only happening while we are in the sitting stance. So we will change this to sitting. Now what we can do is we can add an enable if, and it makes sense to have things for this. Sets is sitting, right? And we enable this when it's standing. So these will be private stuff, since this is only for internals. Yeah, we can make it public as well, because who cares? Do this here. Public bool is standing, and we are standing if the current stance is equal to stance standing. It's that simple. So we have a shorthand. So currently we will have to say, animator current stance, do this. And now we can just say, hey, are we currently standing? Currently we only need it for the tools, but maybe we need that for something else later on. So it makes sense to have it public now. And then we have is sleeping. Cool. This should go away. Yeah, we can only do this while we're standing. Same as here and here. And now these buttons will be grayed out if they currently not possible to be triggered. Yeah, and we can actually use these here. So if we're not standing, then we return, right? Let's use these shorthands if we have them. That's quite alright. So it's sitting. So we can't do anything in wooden sleeping currently, but that's okay. So let's test this out. I should not be able to lick the paw. That's okay. So if I go into sleeping, I should not be able to do anything. Correct. Sitting, I can only trigger the paw lick. Works as expected. Then if I go back to standing, I can trigger all of these. They will play in sequence since I just went down the whole list. But yeah. Okay, so this is basically the script done, because that's all it's going to do. Forget what I was saying before. This is the control surface. So this is the contract between our animation system, the Unity animation system, and our systems. And now I will write another script that will use this script to do stuff. But first off, we will need to document this. Save animator for the Fey animation controller. All possible stances Fey can utilize current stance. Flag whether Fey is currently standing or not. Flag whether Fey is currently sitting or not. Flag whether Fey is currently sleeping or not. Yeah. Let's remove those for now. I thought I actually wanted to use them for this, but it makes much more sense to use these. Maybe later we can. Yeah, no. Let's. So with this, let me see. We used this somewhere, right? Yeah, we have this death thing. So find usages. Is death active? So we get the current animator state and just check if a particular tag is active. So we could actually check if animation-wise we are currently where we want to be. But that's overkill. We don't need that for now. Here scratch trigger parameter ID. We will copy this because we can just write it like this and change stuff around. Look around. Then we have a stretch trigger. Sitting boolean. Sleeping boolean. And then here we have a pollic trigger. Triggers the ear scratch animation. And then we can copy here as well. Triggers the ear twitch. But these are the cool stuff. Yeah. We can see immediately what you're working on. Sometimes you're working on a system and you can't test it until all those things are in place. And yeah, this is like immediate progress. You can see, okay, stuff is happening within the editor, which is always great. Triggers the stretch animation. And then we have the pollic. We can add a note here, only applicable if the current stance is sitting. So we can add these to the others as well. So current stance is standing. So now if you hover over it and people want to use it, they can read that stuff. Awesome. So this is essentially done. Now what we're going to need is we need a Fey animation controller, because now we are actually controlling stuff. This is just the interface, and this is where we control stuff. I have the naming wrong on our characters, but yeah. Hello everyone, seems like Fey is already alive and well. Yeah, welcome Anaki. Yeah, we made quite a progress so far. So animations are in, meshes are in, textures are in. There are some minor errors that we will fix tomorrow with the artists, but other than that, I was currently going to do some random number magic to play these animations, yeah, randomly, to give it some life. Yeah, I don't know if you saw or when you joined, but I will fiddle around with these things again, because actually it's kind of fun. So sleep. Sit, lick your paw. Stand and do everything else. Yeah, there's some minor errors here with the eyes and stuff. So the eyes are actually not correctly rendering, and this stuff is happening. But we can fix this tomorrow. I'm really sure that this is quite an easy fix. But yeah, other than that, so the colors are not correctly getting drawn here as well. But when you look at the texture, so these crystal colors are actually here. Here's the eye and everything else. So this is actually the color of the earring here. But since these are all separate meshes and not the... Oh, hold on. Let me... Ah yeah, so we have the complete mesh here as well. Ah yeah. So if I go in and say this and delete those. Ah yeah, let me open. So we can fix this in Engine. This would be awesome. Get rid of those. We don't need the torus. And now... Okay, eyes are not working. Okay, so no, that was not it. So this is just the overall structure, and all of these are add-ons, but we need to merge them down to use the single texture. But yeah. Anyways. Now it's black. Why? That kind of looks like a demon. Well, that's okay, I guess. Yeah. So animation-wise, everything is working, which is nice. Cool. Yeah, let's get into some random stuff. So we have... So let's think about this. We will probably need something like a random interval between x seconds, or we want to trigger a specific animation. And then this makes sense to put into a list, and then sample from this list by random as well. With that approach, we can't say that the ear twitch should be more frequent than everything else. But I guess this is a fine approach for now. I will just make it really stupid and do, for each animation, just put in like the min max seconds, get the random value, await this. Yeah, now make the list idea. I kind of like it. We will have a private min max array. Now it would make sense to have a thing for that. So for all of these, and then just put a match on it, right? Like, yeah, let's do that. Why not? Public enum emote. So we're not using it for this, but yeah, we will use this here. Private enum emotes. We have ear scratch. Then we have an ear twitch. Look around. What's the other thing? A stretch and a lick paw. Paw lick everywhere, so I'm gonna do this here as well. And then we will have a dictionary, serialized mono behavior, ceramics. We will need a dictionary here. Just a plain old dictionary with emotes, or emote, never call it plural, and min maxes. And then we will say time intervals. For this we need a float timer, target time. We need an update. And here we will say timer is time.delta-time, and if timer equals or is bigger than target time, we will call a function trigger emote. Yeah, we need to switch stances as well. Yeah, we have to look into that. But for now, we just trigger emotes, and then it makes sense to say emote, next emote, right? So target time. So we will actually need yeah, just trigger it for now. So next emote would be a switch. And here we'll say it's a stretch, we will stretch. Let's require that. Type of, what was it? Fey animator and awake. We will grab this thing. Animator. Get component. Fey animator. Then we will just say Fey animator. Always write it with A. I just call it animator. Trigger stretch, yes. Emote ear scratch. So actually I like to have it in this order. So let's use some magic here. Yeah, can also continue that here, and we say animator, and then we say trigger, and now we just need to fill those. Ear scratch, ear twitch, yeah, trigger look around, trigger stretch, trigger polyg. You want a normal switch, which is okay. Let's pull this down to here, call it case. Do this and then we break. We're just breaking. Apparently I don't know how to write a switch again. Okay, I need those parentheses. Interesting. Okay, so we trigger it, and then we will call private void pick next emote, and here we'll go in and say from our time intervals, let's call these emotes, we will get the keys, then we do a random, pick random, to list pick random. We had those, right? Extensions, list extensions. I guess we had some random stuff. Random, yeah. I can do this on an I list. Yeah, there it is. So we pick a random emote, we set it to the next emote, then we go in because we know this is in here, and then just say random because that's our target time. Where's that? Makes sense. Then we pick that, and we need to do this on start as well. I want to show this in the inspector, read only. This is a box group settings. Fold out runtime. Let's copy this over. Where was it? Here it is. Show if. I just noticed, Iko, you said she is. So it's a she for you. Because there was a discussion today. Clearly is a she. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we can scrap that. Don't need that. Yeah, so now it should play random emotes. We can't switch stances right now, so we will need to add those as well. But yeah. But we got pretty far in the stream, so we will test this now. Then I think that's it for today. But gameplay-wise or graphics-wise, this is Faye implemented, which is cool. I wanted to do something which is doable within 2 hours in a stream setting, because most of the time we are not able to finish stuff here. So where it is? Here it is. Then we say Faye animation controller. We apply that. We remove that as well again and apply it, because I always forget that I need to instantiate these things with a emote and a min-max. Yeah. So let's try again. But pretty productive. You see it because I still have beer over. Clearly is a she. Okay, I don't know. Faye animation controller. We will apply that. Ear scratch. We have a value. Yeah, these are not initialized, right? So if I do this. Not cool. So I can't use min-maxes here. So for now I guess I will just add floats to make it easier and figure it out later. Why can't I remove that? Okay, so let's apply this and reapply it. Oh, because it's still the same name. So add an underscore, test something. Then we can't compile, yeah. Okay, so now let's rename it back to emotes. The question is, how is min-max implemented? Because I could actually just use the underlying type. Oh, it's just a whack tool. Okay. Then we have a min-max slider. Yeah, we could do that, but yeah. For now, let's just put some random values in here, like 5, if you wanted to. Then ear twitch, like 2, I don't know. Scratch was 5, then look around, 10 seconds. Stretch, 10 seconds. Polyg, yeah, I will not play since we can't switch things right now, but let's see what happens. So we'll do a look around. I'm not adding to it, I'm just setting it. So this will never do anything. So let's see this in action. Yeah, we have to do this the whole time. I don't know if I like that, but yeah. Yeah, that's playing, then I'm confused. We trigger it, then we pick a next one at random and set the target time. Ah, yeah, we don't reset the time. Yeah, but this is important. So now I picked all the way through every frame. So yeah. This reminds me, I have sound effects. Yeah, and those have a preview, and the preview has a progress bar. I want to use that as well. Progress bar, and then we just say name of target time. Now the timing should be displayed via progress bar. Yeah, there's the progress bar. So we have an ear scratch, next is a stretch. Right, there's the stretch, next is an ear scratch. Then we have a stretch again, which is weird. Why does it pick always these two? Then if we look around, okay, so it's not broken. Then with your Twitch, we didn't have that. Yeah, that's really fast. Yeah, seems to work. I'm not sure what happened. Okay, so it got confused. But yeah, Faye lives. And with that, guys, I think it's a wrap for today. Yeah. Yeah. Hopefully next stream I can show you what I was alluding to at the beginning of the stream without spoiling. But it will be interesting, and I'm curious to see what you will say, because I think it's really cool. Thanks for that. I can't wait to see Faye in game. Yeah, me too. Will be great. Well, let's fix those graphic issues up, and then we're good to go, basically. But yeah, have a great rest of the week. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next week while we work on some secret stuff nobody else knows. So until then, guys, take care and see you later.